Okay, so ready to dive into the world of blanching operators. We've got all this great info from RoleCatcher to help you nail that interview.
Yep, career guides, interview tips, and even some AI magic to boost your prep.
So let's get right to it. First things first, what exactly does a blanching operator do all day?
It's a lot more than just, tossing almonds in hot water. You're the one controlling the whole blanching process, using pressure and temperature to get those outer coverings off all kinds of nuts and seeds, cashews, pistachios, hazelnuts, you name it.
Wow, so you're like a nut magician. What about the work environment? What's it like in a food processing plant?
Well, picture this, a busy plant with machines humming, maybe a little warm, and definitely not your typical office. You'll be on the move all day wearing the right safety gear because there's dust, maybe some chemicals. It's hands-on for sure.
Not a desk job, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, let's get to those interview questions. RoleCatcher starts with the classic. What motivated you to pursue a career as a blanching operator?
This is where you really got to show your interest. Don't just say, I like nuts. Go deeper. What sparked your interest in food processing? The fast-paced environment, the science behind it all.
Show them you've actually thought about this, right? Now, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful.
Totally. You can plug the job description right into their system, and the AI analyzes it, picks out those keywords and skills the employer's looking for.
Like a cheat sheet, but totally legit.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. What experience do you have in a food manufacturing environment? Now, what if you haven't actually been a blanching operator before?
No problem. Think about any skills from other jobs that could transfer over. Did you work on a production line, operate machinery, follow strict safety protocols?
Even working in a fast food kitchen shows you can handle a fast-paced environment.
Right. Focus on those connections.
And don't just list your duties. Give specific examples. Did you improve efficiency? Were you praised for your attention to detail? Make them remember you.
Numbers are your friends here. Quantify those achievements whenever possible.
Good point. And be ready for follow-up questions. They might ask you to describe a specific time you had to troubleshoot a problem on the line.
This is where the STAR method comes in handy. Situation, task, action, result. Keeps your answer clear and shows off those problem-solving skills.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Speaking of troubleshooting, that takes us to another common question. How do you ensure the blanching equipment is properly maintained and functioning correctly?
This is about preventative maintenance. Do you know how to check the machines for wear and tear? Are you familiar with cleaning and lubrication procedures?
They want to see you're proactive.
Right. That you understand keeping things running smoothly is super important.
Yeah, what if a machine actually does malfunction? They might ask, what would you do if you noticed a piece of equipment wasn't functioning properly?
First, don't panic. Stay
Yeah.
calm. Walk them through your troubleshooting process.
Okay, so what would you do?
I'd check the power source, consult the manual, try to isolate the problem, show them you have a methodical approach and you can think under pressure.
And bonus points if you can give an example of a time you successfully troubleshooted a similar issue.
Absolutely.
Okay, shifting gears to quality. There's often a question about meeting standards.
Right. Something like, how do you ensure the blanching process meets quality and safety standards? You're not just pushing buttons, you understand the impact of your work.
So monitoring those blanching parameters, but what does that even mean for someone new to this?
It's all about time, temperature, and pressure. You need to watch these factors closely.
Like baking a cake.
Exactly. Mess up the temperature or time, and you get a disaster.
Makes sense. So what would quality checks actually look like?
Picture yourself inspecting those freshly blanched nuts. Are they evenly colored, free from defects, the right size and texture? You're like a quality control superhero, making sure only the best nuts move on.
I love that analogy. They might also ask for a specific example like, can you give an example of a time you identified a quality issue and what steps you took to resolve it?
Have a story ready that highlights your problem-solving skills and commitment to quality. Maybe you saw a batch of nuts browning unevenly. Did you adjust the temperature? Check for blockages. Show them you're proactive and prevented a bigger problem.
Makes sense. Okay, so another question RoleCatcher highlights is, how do you troubleshoot issues that arise during the blanching process?
It's not just about knowing the steps. It's about showing you're resourceful and can think on your feet. Consulting manuals, collaborating with colleagues, using your experience to spot patterns.
They want to see you don't just give up when something goes wrong. This might tie back to those career insights from RoleCatcher.
Absolutely. Their guides talk about how important problem solving is for moving up. A great answer could be, I'd first try to find the root cause using the manual in my training. If I'm unsure, I'd ask my supervisor or experienced colleagues. I believe in always learning and improving my skills. See how that subtly shows you're ambitious.
Very clever. Okay, we're on a roll. What's next?
Let's talk about prioritizing. In a busy plant, you'll have lots of tasks. They might ask, how do you prioritize your tasks when there are competing demands on your time?
Testing your organization skills and how you stay calm under pressure. How do you answer that well?
Show them your system. Do you use a to-do list? Do you communicate with your team about shifting priorities? Can you quickly figure out which tasks are most urgent?
Give them a peek into how you think. Don't just say, I handle things well. Paint a picture. A concrete example always helps too.
Exactly. Maybe you had to deal with a broken machine while also prepping for a quality inspection. How did you manage your time and make sure both got done? Highlight your ability to adapt and prioritize on the fly.
Now we can't forget about those all-important regulations.
Absolutely. Food safety is huge in this industry. They will definitely ask, how do you ensure you are following all relevant regulations and guidelines related to food safety?
It's not enough to just know the rules right. You have to show you take a proactive approach.
Exactly. It's about staying up to date. Do you regularly review updated guidelines, participate in training, actively learn from experienced colleagues? The interviewer wants to see that you take food safety seriously and are committed to maintaining a hygienic and compliant work environment.
And how can you tie this back to the specific things a blanching operator does?
Think about what you do every day. Sanitizing equipment before and after use, wearing the right gear, following strict handling procedures for the nuts. Emphasize those actions that show you stick to the protocols.
And be ready for those what-if questions. They might ask, what steps would you take if you noticed a colleague violating a food safety protocol? Your answer should show you're committed to those standards and can handle those situations professionally.
Right. We'll talk more about that in the next part of our deep dive. There's a lot more to cover, like teamwork, staying motivated, and those final tips to really make you shine. Welcome back. Let's dig deeper into those interview questions and get you ready to rock that blanching operator role.
All right, so last time we were talking about regulations and food safety. What's next?
Let's talk about teamwork. It's crucial in any production environment.
Right. They might ask something like, how do you collaborate with other team members to optimize production processes? It's easy to just say, I'm a team player, but how do you really show that?
Think about specific examples of when you worked well with others. Did you help improve a process, solve a bottleneck as a team? Maybe you mentored someone new and helped them get up to speed?
Those stories really bring your answer to life.
Exactly. And don't forget about communication. No one wants to work with someone who doesn't listen or share information.
True, true.
You could mention that you value open communication, feedback, and working together to improve. It shows you get that teamwork is about more than just getting the job done.
It's about achieving those awesome results as a team.
Right.
Okay, so here's a follow-up question that can be kind of tricky. Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a conflict or disagreement within a team setting?
This is where you show off those conflict resolution skills. Remember, it's not about blaming anyone. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone.
So how do you answer this in a way that makes a good impression?
Use that STAR method again. Describe the situation, your role, the actions you took, and the positive outcome. Did you help people talk it out? Compromise to find a solution. Focus on staying calm, professional, and solution-focused, even when things are tough.
Those are some great tips. Now let's shift gears to a question that's all about your motivation. They might ask something like, how do you stay motivated and engaged in your work as a blanching operator?
This one seems simple, but it's your chance to show your passion, your work ethic, your drive. Don't just say, I work hard or I learn fast. Think about what specifically motivates you in this role.
What makes you tick?
Exactly. Do you love making sure the quality is top-notch? Do you enjoy the technical stuff, the fast-paced environment? Whatever it is, articulate it and connect it to this job. Let that enthusiasm shine.
And be ready for those follow-up questions that dig a little deeper. They might ask about a time you faced a demotivating situation and how you got through it.
It shows you're self-aware and know how to handle your own motivation. That's a great quality to have. Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about those questions that are about your technical knowledge and experience with blanching equipment.
They might ask something like, describe your experience with operating and maintaining blanching equipment. Don't just say you've used it before.
Right. Go into detail. What specific types of machines have you worked with? Can you describe how they work and how to use them? The more specific, the better.
Don't forget those maintenance tasks too, like Cleaning, lubricating, troubleshooting. It shows you care about the equipment.
Right. And speaking of troubleshooting, they might ask, what are some common signs of wear and tear on blanching equipment, and how would you address them?
Well, that's a good one. It's about showing you pay attention to those details and you're proactive about maintenance.
Think about those little signs that something's not quite right, like strange noises, vibrations, changes in performance. Show that you know how to prevent problems before they become big headaches.
Okay, so quality control is obviously huge in this role. Be prepared for questions like, how do you ensure the consistency and quality of blanched nuts during the production process?
This is where you show you understand those quality standards and how to maintain them throughout the process. Think about all the steps from inspecting the raw materials to monitoring those blanching parameters to checking the finished product.
And give specific examples of quality checks you've done before and how you handled any issues.
Exactly. Maybe you adjusted the blanching time or temperature or rejected a batch that wasn't good enough. It's all about showing that you care about the quality just as much as getting things done quickly.
Now we can't forget about safety. That's so important in food processing. They will definitely ask you about hazards and how to prevent them.
You bet. A question like, what are some key food safety hazards associated with the blanching process and how do you mitigate them will almost definitely come up. It's about showing that you understand the risks and that you're committed to keeping things safe and hygienic.
So what kind of hazards should you be ready to talk about?
Think about each step of the process and what could go wrong. Cross-contamination from raw materials, bacteria growth because of wrong temperatures, handling chemicals safely.
And for each hazard, explain exactly how you'd prevent it.
Exactly. Sanitation procedures, protective gear, proper handling, and storage.
And don't forget to mention any certifications you have, like a food safety handler's certificate.
It shows you're serious about food safety. Now, how about a question that really tests your problem-solving skills in a real situation?
Okay, I like where this is going.
They might ask something like, describe a time when you had to deal with a production problem or equipment malfunction during the blanching process. What actions did you take?
That's a tough one.
Pick a story that shows you can think fast, follow protocols, and communicate with others to fix the problem. Walk them through what you did from figuring out what was wrong to finding a solution.
And mention any steps you took to prevent it from happening again.
Right. If the problem affected production, be honest about it. But focus on what you learned and how it made you a better blanching operator.
Now it's not all about technical skills, right? They want to know how you contribute to a good work environment.
Absolutely. A question like, what are some ways you contribute to a positive and productive work environment? Lets you show off those soft skills. Are you reliable? A good communicator? Do you help others? Are you a good listener and problem solver?
What makes you a great teammate?
Maybe you organized a team building activity or trained a new employee, or just tried to stay positive even when things were tough. It all shows that you value teamwork and want to create a good environment for everyone.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about a question that's all about your future.
Right. Something like, what are your career aspirations and how does this blanching operator role align with your long-term goals? This is your chance to show your ambition and that you understand career paths in food processing.
It's also a chance to show you've researched the company and you're genuinely interested in working there.
Exactly. Where do you see yourself in a few years? Do you want to be a supervisor? Specialize in something specific. Talk about your goals and how this job can help you reach them. Mention any training or certifications you're interested in.
Show them you're eager to learn and grow.
Absolutely. Companies love employees who are invested in their own development. Now, don't forget that RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful for all these questions. Use it to analyze job descriptions and tailor your answers. Practice your responses using their video feedback feature. It's like having a coach in your pocket.
We've covered a lot, but there's more to come. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll share those last-minute tips that can really help you seal the deal and get that job offer. Okay, we're back for the final part of our Blanching Operator interview prep. We've covered those tough questions, explored career paths, and even used RoleCatcher's AI to our advantage. What are those final touches that can make someone really stand out?
We've talked about using RoleCatcher's AI to tailor your answers, but let's really dig into how powerful this tool can be. Imagine you've practiced your answers, but you're not quite sure how you come across. That's where their AI video feedback comes in. Record yourself answering practice questions, and their system analyzes it all. Your delivery tone, even your body language.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a personal coach giving you feedback but without the awkwardness.
Exactly. It might point out things you don't even realize, like using too many filler words or not making enough eye contact. And it gives you specific tips on how to improve. It's so valuable for perfecting your presentation.
So you've practiced and gotten feedback using RoleCatcher's AI. What else can you do to prepare before the interview?
Research the company and don't just glance at their website. Really dig in. What's their mission, their values, any recent news, industry trends?
You're saying go beyond the basics and show you've done your homework.
Right. Imagine casually mentioning a company achievement or connecting their values to your own work ethic. It shows genuine interest and that you take initiative. It makes a big impression.
It makes you memorable. Okay, so I've always heard it's good to prepare questions to ask the interviewer. What kind of questions really impress?
Avoid anything you could easily find on Google. Instead, ask questions that show a deeper understanding of the industry, the company's goals, or the specific challenges of the blanching operator role.
So, for example, instead of asking about salary or benefits, I could ask about their sustainability practices or how they're using technology to be more efficient.
Exactly. You could also ask about opportunities for professional development and advancement. It shows you're thinking long-term about building a career there, not just getting a job.
And remember, an interview is a two-way street. You're also figuring out if this company is a good fit for you.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about appearance. A food processing plant isn't a fashion show, but dressing professionally shows respect.
Clean and neat, even for virtual interviews.
Right. RoleCatcher talks about this in their guides. It's about showing you're serious about the opportunity.
And don't forget about nonverbal communication, especially online. Good eye contact posture, a genuine smile, those things matter.
Even if you're nervous, try to project confidence and enthusiasm.
And hey, if you need help with those nonverbal cues, remember, RoleCatcher's AI video feedback can help you practice.
It's true. It can really help. Now, here's a final tip that might surprise you. Be enthusiastic about the boring stuff.
The less glamorous parts of the job.
Exactly. Blanching might not be glamorous, but if you can show passion even for the routine tasks, it shows dedication.
So if they ask about cleaning equipment, don't just say, it's part of the job.
Right. Talk about how important it is for food safety and quality control. Connect it back to your commitment to making a great product. It's about showing you care even about the small stuff. That's what makes a true professional.
This has been an amazing deep dive. We've explored the blanching operator role from every angle, and I feel like we've given everyone some real tools to nail that interview.
We started by understanding the job itself, then mastered those interview questions, and even learned how to use RoleCatcher's AI to perfect our answers and presentation.
Remember, preparation is key. The more you put in, the more confident you'll feel going into that interview.
And don't forget, the food processing industry is always changing. New technologies, automation, evolving consumer preferences. It's a dynamic field.
So even after you land that dream job, never stop learning and growing. Take every opportunity to build your skills and stay ahead of the game.
Who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one mentoring new blanching operators and sharing your passion for this important industry.
That's a fantastic thought. We're so excited for you as you start this journey. Good luck with the interview and keep us posted on your success.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep into whatever excites you.